Hey guys. I already cleaned up my brow with the P. Louise number 5, but I really want these shadows to pop. So I'm using the lightest shade that I use on myself, and that's the P. Louise number 3 in Rumor. They say you should always do the side that you are worse on. And they say that if you can see the like brush imprint, then you're tapping too hard. So move your hand back a little bit more on the brush until you don't get that finish anymore. And then with this Morphe M518 brush, I'm just gonna kind of like sweep out any excess, kind of like blend it in with that lighter color up top. For me, I have to pay very close attention to the creases because my lids get very, very oily. But I've already primed them with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. Say whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So I'm just gonna smudge out a little bit of that P. Louise. I'm gonna take Cherish. From what I've been told, these are super, super pigmented. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, but first again. And now one of the easiest ways to make sure that you're getting it symmetrical is over here, use your lash lines. So I started at that very outer corner. Use that to your advantage. Then over here, follow a portion in your eye. Like for me, I figured like I'll bring it like right to where the circle starts to like round out a lot. You can also use like your brow as a guide. So like right where my arch is, I kind of like try to line them up. Actually gonna use Play, which is a little brighter. It's the Sigma E45 brush. I'm just gonna tap into Play. And I'm really just tapping that in for now. Notice how I'm patting it like halfway on the other color and halfway off. So that first color kind of gets lost just a little bit. Now over here, I always crease up. So I'm just kind of sweeping that out real quick. You notice how I move like very small, like inching back as I tap that in. That's kind of going to help it blend. It's a little crazy, but don't worry. I'm going to clean it up. So now with that soft blend out brush, just kind of going over the edges, cleaning those up a little bit. And then with that first brush, I'm going back into Cherish. And I'm actually going to dip into Ego as well, just to give it a little more depth. And tap that back in so that we don't lose that color. Anybody that knows me knows that this is like my signature color scheme. I love working with purples and pinks, especially on girls like my complexion. Like as long as you have like those rich yellow and red undertones, these colors just look freaking amazing on us. And we're blending. And then because I don't want this to be like too harsh of a pink, I'm gonna take like a pretty decent sized fluffy brush. So this is the Morphe E28 brush. And I'm gonna take a little bit of my medium deep. And just soften those lines and kind of like warm up that pink a little bit so that it fades out nicely. And it's not like, bam! I'm just gonna go on ahead. And again, I'm taking that number 3 Rumor. And back on that tap out brush. Tap that in into like a half cut crease. It's not going to be a cut crease because I'm going to leave it on the softer side. You just kind of want to make sure that the peaks are matching up. And then tapping and sweeping that out. Like I said, I don't want this to be like a harsh cut crease. So you can blend it out a little messy. And then with that little bigger tapered brush, I'm just kind of like blending out that harsh line a little bit. You can also do it with the smaller one because it has that darker color on there. Just to soften it ever so slightly. I'm going to use these 3 brushes. You can see they're all pretty dense and short. Outer corner, I'm going to use this Latte London brush. I'm going to use Soulmate for that. And taking Soulmate into that outer corner, I'm just tapping it until I get the desired build from this color. The MAC 239S. And Satisfy is pretty much going to go all over the lid. For the most part, up until like the last few lashes. Always remember whenever you're blending your colors together, you want to use the 50-50 rule, meaning going halfway on the color that you used prior and halfway off to get that soft gradual fade out from them. I'm going to go back in with Soulmate. Tap right back over. And now we're getting a nice progressive fade out of one color and into another, right? When blending out those colors, it's natural to lose one color in the other. So don't be afraid to go back and forth and build up that pigment. Just want to do that until there's like no more harsh lines and they're blending really nicely together. And now I'm not even like really dipping into the shadow. I'm kind of just using the remnants to blend them out. And then last but not least, I'm taking Urge onto, oh, this is the vintage, the step 1 for the money brush. And then with that lighter pink, I'm just tapping that into that inner corner. And it's just a little lighter of a pink than the one in the center. And of course, with that Satisfy, we gotta go back in and tap that purple in so that you can actually see where one starts and the other ends. And then back in with Soulmate. And now we have that really pretty progressive fade. Loving it! I'm going to take another small brush, and this is a Real Teqniques. This is a shading brush. I think this was before they started really doing the numbers. In a little bit of that Once Upon a Time highlighter. And I'm gonna like brighten up that inner corner. Then I'm gonna take Snowflushed, the extra dimension, because it has like those tones of pink, and pat that like right over it. I wanted to do the other one first just to make it pop. And then with this same, I'm actually going to pat that into that crease. And it's a Sigma glitter. It's called Bewitched. I'm just taking a little bit of it and tapping it out in hopes to break up like that chunkier look. And then to help blend the glitter in, I'm gonna go back in with those first 2 colors, the very light ones. I got my Dr. Branded Poreless primer. Doublewear concealer. I'm also going to be using another Doublewear concealer, but this is the Radiant Concealer, and it's a little deeper. This is in the color 4N, so 3W and 4N. So this is hopefully going to like balance it out a little bit. Usually I use a sponge, but it's not wet, and because the Doublewear is super thin, it can eat up a lot of the product. So I'm just using this Ulta brush. That is amazing. And because it has this doe foot applicator, it really helps blend everything in. And I'm doing that tapping motion under here because I really want to push it into the skin and get like a really full coverage under here. For this step, I'm using Ulta's Hydrating Foundation Stick, and I'm applying that into the hollows of my cheek, underneath my chin, the sides of my nose, and the top of my forehead. And I'm just blending that out using an angled contour brush. So now with this Morphe M572, I'm just going to blend out my nose contour. And with this Morphe M405, we're going back to Lauder with the Bronze Goddess. This is the number 4. I could probably do a 3 right now because I'm pale, but I like the 4. Notice I'm not really sweeping it, I'm tapping it because this foundation is so hydrating. I don't really want to move it around. I just kind of want to set it in place. Now that we are bronzed, taking that Smashbox Halo Powder, I'm going to take that on that Sephora 99 brush. I love this brush for under the eye. Alright guys, so I went ahead and added a little bit of the 2 colors that we used over here underneath with a little angled brush. So now that that's done, I'm going to go on ahead and do my lip line. Crazy Beautiful. I'm going to use the NYX matte pencil. The reason I love this liner is because of this brush. It makes doing eyeliner so easy. Little mascara. I'm using the Power Up by Butter. I'm loving this brush that's on here. I'm going to pop these bad boys on. So holding it just like this. Kind of like dropping it right on top of the lash. And then trying to push it like right onto that little lid. Not onto the lash, but the lid. And because we put the mascara on my natural lashes before we put this one on, it's actually going to help prevent pulling out my natural lash. I like to use the tweezer to like pinch them together. But if you have a lash curler, you can do that too. Good thing about the black lash glue is that it blends right in with your liner. I'm using my Skindinavia bridal setting spray. I'm going to use that because I'm oily and I'm using a very hydrating foundation and I don't want it to move. So I'm taking my purple pink self and I'm going to work now. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope it was helpful and I hope you guys picked up some cool tips and tricks.